little bit of a run, but can they solidify that defense just a little bit more? And I love the move by Arizona to go get a veteran that he can add, again, with Chandler Jones to that interior front seven on defense and kind of complement that offense just a little bit out west.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a shocker only because, with the assumption that JJ really wanted to go to a football team that could put him in position to win immediately. I thought there may have been better options, but there's no doubt that Arizona is on the come. We had a chance to look at them in Monday Night Football this year as well, and they do have a very aggressive defense in terms of philosophically how they like to get after you. Chandler Jones at one point in time was one of the best pass rushers in the NFL over the past, say, 5 or 6 years. And I have no reason to believe that he still cannot be. It'll be interesting to see what they do as far as Hassan Reddick, whether or not they can get him back in the fold, because he has really found his niche as an outside pass rusher in particular. He's not an off-the-ball linebacker. He is an edge pass rusher. And when you put J.J. Watt inside and use him and deploy him up and down the line of scrimmage, there's no question that they could be the type of team that if they can get you in third and long type of situations, they could be a problem for you. The question is, offensively, are they going to be able to take the next step? Is Kyler Murray going to be able to take the next step? Is Cliff Kingsbury going to be able to take the next step in terms of just making sure that the entire roster is continually headed in the right direction and playing at the highest level that they can possibly play at? I think it's a little bit of a gamble for JJ. I would not bet against him. I would not bet against the Cardinals because I like the direction that they're headed. I thought there were some more ready-made teams from a championship contention standpoint for him that he was considering. But I like the move. It makes the West all the more fun in the NFC. And I can't wait to see how this pans out.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say real quick, you think about this division as a whole, and it has been so difficult, and the Cardinals trying desperately to climb, and you have Kyler and all that. For the first time, we will be talking Matt Berry's Arizona Cardinals. We will be talking about the defensive side of the ball much more, and how much of a difference can that make with JJ there? We shall see. Yeah, and you look at the Rams with Aaron Donald. They bring in Matthew Stafford because they were the ones that wanted to make a run at the Super Bowl. And guys, we were joking around about it maybe a couple of weeks ago, but it is worth pointing out and looking back at it now. DeAndre Hopkins, his former teammate with the Texans, put out that Instagram and tweet where he said, "Let's finish what we started." So perhaps there was a recruiting effort going on this entire time. But again, the breaking news, J.J. Watt has announced he will sign with the Arizona Cardinals. Gentlemen, we appreciate the best laid plans of where Watt should go. Watt just interrupted the entire segment and told us himself. Thank you, guys. JJ. Thanks. Yeah, good perspective. So when you look at J.J. Watt since 2011 and what he's been able to do, look at his NFL rank in all of these categories, Sage. Sacks, second. Forced fumbles, first. Fumble recoveries, first. Batted passes, first. Now, he has combated some injuries within that time frame since 2011. But again, the breaking news happening in the middle of a J.J. Watt segment is that J.J. Watt is signing with the Arizona Cardinals. Reports Watt is getting a 2-year, $31 million deal that includes $23 million guaranteed. The 31-year-old won 3 NFL Defensive Player of the Year awards from 2012 to 2015. And here's the tweet. Source, me, Cardinal shirt, squat rack, phenomenal. J.J. Watt, football face, just getting it in. He will be a member of the Arizona Cardinals when this deal can be consummated on March 17th. Want to welcome in our Adam Schefter, who did source the contract and information that J.J. Watt will be getting with the Arizona Cardinals. So, Schefter, how did this deal come about?
Listen, J.J. Watt has spent the last couple of weeks talking to teams. He had interest from the Buffalo Bills. He had interest in the Cleveland Browns, had some interest from the Indianapolis Colts. But ultimately, the Arizona Cardinals stepped up to the highest level here, and he decided to go to a team and follow the same path that one DeAndre Hopkins went. So now it's become the Arizona Texans out there in the desert with DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt playing out in Arizona, and he gets to play there with Chandler Jones, gets to play in warm weather, could have opted to go elsewhere. I know people found it to be very intriguing and glamorous to send him to Green Bay. Don't think that was ever realistic. Glamorous and romantic to play with his brothers in Pittsburgh. Didn't have enough money. Don't think that was ever going to happen. And so Arizona was the team that stepped up here, and J.J. Watt is one of the first big free agent dominoes to fall. And he was allowed to sign, obviously, because Houston had released him from his contract unlike the other free agents who are free to enter into deals starting on March 17th.
Yeah, Adam, what do you make of the timing of this? Because we've been talking about J.J. Watt was free to sign with anybody. We had a couple of rumors of teams that perhaps he was taking a look at. But here we are, Monday, March 1st, about 12:45 p.m. Eastern. Watt's breaking his own news. The timing.
Well, the timing's not unusual. Again, I think if you are J.J. Watt, you want to get this done before free agency opens up. You want to move before the market starts spending money elsewhere. And that was one of the advantages he had by being set free 2 Fridays ago. And I got the word over the weekend that he was going to make his decision here early this week. It happened to come today. I think if there was a surprise, it's not the timing, Matt. It's that Arizona kind of was off the radar. You didn't hear a lot of conversation about the Cardinals when people speculated on potential landing spots for J.J. Watt. Seldom was the name Arizona mentioned, but lo and behold, in the end, the Cardinals made a foray into free agency and land J.J. Watt, who obviously will help bring a certain temperament, a certain professionalism, a certain talent to Arizona and complement some of the players that they have on the offensive side of the football.
Adam, Sage and I discussed it last hour, and we had brought up that DeAndre Hopkins' Instagram post from February 16th when he said to J.J. Watt, let's finish what we started. When it comes to free agency in the NFL, we see it a lot in the NBA where a lot of friends get together, they decide to join and make a super team. How much might we start seeing that shift in the NFL where a former teammate, DeAndre Hopkins, seems to like it in the desert and perhaps played even just a small role in J.J. Watt joining the Cardinals?
Yeah, I don't think that that's a real factor, Matt. I think in football, it's tougher to do that. It's 53-man rosters. And while I'm sure J.J. Watt spoke to DeAndre Hopkins and got his feedback on the organization, I don't think that these two men plotted together to go form Super Team West out in Arizona. I just don't think that that's practical and realistic in this day and age. You see certain players like to go play with other players, but it just is not as prevalent as it is in the NBA.
Well, Adam, we've said it for a long time. This is probably going to be one of the most entertaining NFL off seasons we've seen maybe in league history. In the latest bit of breaking news, J.J. Watt headed to the Arizona Cardinals. Schefter, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
And as you take a look at this, the numbers with J.J. Watt, he joins the Cardinals defense that
they're telling teams they have no plans to do so. Meanwhile, Dak is at an impasse with the Cowboys in negotiations for a long-term deal. Max, which quarterback should have the biggest beef with their team? Would you say Dak, Russ, or Deshaun?
You asking me, Molly?
Yes.
Yeah, Max, yep.
Deshaun Watson. The answer is Deshaun Watson. And please spare me his team gave him $160 million. Any team in the league, yes, including Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, was going to give Deshaun Watson all that money because unlike Dak Prescott, he's not a good quarterback who you're hoping might become great, but represents the franchise well and all that stuff. He represents the franchise well and all that stuff, but he's a great quarterback right now. And maybe he's not even in his prime yet. Deshaun Watson is exactly who you want as quarterback if you don't have Patrick Mahomes. Like in the entire league when you factor in age and everything. This is the dude you want. Every team was going to pay him. Every team. He owes no special allegiance to the Texans because they happen to be the team that drafted him. Why does Deshaun Watson want out in the first place? Because he was lied to. I mean, forget about the fact that they trade DeAndre Hopkins. He finds out about it after the fact, right? That's his dude. That's one of the best receivers in football. And they're boys on top of it. But then you promise him. You sit down and promise him after you fire Bill O'Brien, reportedly, you promise him that he will have input into the coaching and the GM search